Hello, in this video we are going to show you how to use the UI loading bar. The UI loading bar, it basically allows you to have a bar that you can set increments in terms of how much you want to be visible. So for example, if you show the loading bar at 50%, the first 50% will be visible and the last 50% won't be. If you show if you set it to 5%, the first 5% will be visible and the last 95% won't be, in terms of the width of the basically the progress bar that you provide. This has no functionality attached to it, because when you talk about UI loading or loading bars in the context of games, what you think of is on splash screens and at the start of the game, and in loading screens you have some sort of loading bar that loads assets and other stuff in your game. But the reality is a loading bar is just a visual element, and that just represents some progress, so you can do whatever you want behind the scenes. So that's the sort of stuff you'll be coding in, because it'll be specific to your game. Before we get started, just make sure you've obviously got your project set up and you've actually got it set up to use the UI plugin on Cocos2d-x. If you haven't, don't worry, there'll be a link in the description. So let's get to it. Really simple. Just do UI : loading bar. I'm just going to name mine loading bar equals UI loading bar : create, and this is going to take one image, so it's going to be slider progress.png. Let me show you this right here. As you can see, this is our loading bar. What you want to do when you create it is you want to create it at 100% width. So if your loading bar had loaded 100%, that's how you want to create it. You don't need to create in separate intervals. That's the great thing about Cocos2d-x. It does all of that for you. So like I said, if you set it to 75%, you'll only show 75% of the loading bar, which is fantastic. Let's just set the loading bar's position vec2, and I'm just going to put 400 by 500. I'm going to put the percentage now. So this just takes a float and you just want it to range between 0 and 100. I'm going to show you 0 first. Loading bar, actually just need to add it to the scene now. So this add child loading bar. Now if we just run this bad boy in our simulator, there we go. And you might be thinking nothing's occurred, but if you have a look in terms of the vertex cores, there is something visible. It's just we've set it to 0%. So let's set it to 100. So in theory, the entire loading bar should be visible now. There we go, we got the entire loading bar visible. Let's set it to 5%. And again, this is a float value that it takes, so you can set it to 5.5 to get that little bit of extra precision, which allows smoother movements. There you go, 5% of it. And if we were to put 98%, you should be able to tell a slight difference between the 100% that we did a couple of tries ago. So there we go, we got that little curved bit cut off. And if I were to do 75%, there we go, we got 75% of the loading bar. So like I said, this has no actual game functionality, it's just visual. It's the same with pretty much all the UI elements, they're just visual elements. So if you want any game specific functionality, you have to code that in yourself. So where you would probably use this, if let's say on the splash screen you're loading 10 assets, you know those 10 assets are 50 kilobytes each, they roughly take the same amount of time. Once each one has loaded, you'll just set the percentage to what it was previously plus 10. So you go 10, 20, 30, all the way to 100, so it looks like it's actually loading assets, but the loading bar is just showing a visual progress of what you're doing behind the scenes. So that's it for the UI loading bar. If you have any questions, feel free to post them on sonarlearning.co.uk/questions.php. There'll be a link in the description to that as well. Please rate and subscribe, as it does really help keep the content free. And as usual, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.